Sometime in 2003, I sat down with writer Lola Soneyin. You know Lola. Lola is now the brain behind Ake Festival, I think Book Buzz, and so on and so forth. Lola had just come back to Nigeria then, so she was a lot more Oloibo, as we call it. But then what was interesting was I basically said to Lola that I wanted her husband. I didn't think she found it funny. I said a lot of other things to her. I think you should find out yourself. When I sat down to talk with Lola Soneyin on Udon in 2003.
Let's get this out of the way once and for all. Okay, I want to marry your husband. You know, and we're African, and we African women understand these things. You know, I was told to discuss it with you, and I'm discussing it with you now.
That's actually one of the reasons why I'm here. In fact, it's the only reason I'm here today, is to tell you to just lay off. If you can't give him the children I've given him first, then let's not even talk.
How many children are you talking about here?
Well, quite a number.
Quite a
How
number.
many can you drop?
10.
I can drop 15.
20.
40.
Can we adopt a few?
I have to actually, because I would have reached menopause by that time. We'll have to resort to adoption.
Right. You know, in a lot of your writing, you speak the woman's mind. Do you feel a need to speak the woman's mind as a writer? Couldn't you just talk about anything? Why women? Why talk the woman's mind?
Well, I feel that my writing comes from within, and I think it's only natural for one to write what is close to one's heart, or write about the things that actually bother one. And women have always been, the issues that concern women have always been very important to me. I have a mother, a grandmother. I don't have any sisters, but I have lots of women around me. And I actually grew up from a very young age listening to the problems that women have always encountered. And over the years, you know, when you internalize these things and you're always looking for a way to regurgitate.
Right.
So I think that's what happened to me. So when I started writing, I just, you know, saw it there in the writing myself that a lot of stuff concerning women was contained.
Do you feel that might be a bit limiting on the long run? For example, I walk into a bookshop in several parts of the world, and now they have a shelf for women's material, women's reading, something like that. You know, they are putting women into a tight little corner. For you as a writer, as an artist, do you think that might be limiting, even though you are bringing forth what is inside of you?
Well, in my first collection, So All the Time I Was Sitting on an Egg, I think the focus there was womanhood, but I did write about other things. In fact, there's a section there that's titled Somehow Everything Striking a Pose.
Right.
And in that particular section, I did try to talk about other things.
Right.
It's not that I'm totally preoccupied with issues concerning women. It's important to me, but it is also important to me to talk about other things. And in my most recent collection, Song of a Riverbird, there was a section there called Brooding, where I tried to talk about issues concerning children, like pedophilia,
right.
abortion. I did try to talk about other things as well.
Do you suppose that, you know, the interest in the portion or the part of your work where it is you talk about women could be because of the way you talk about the issues concerning women? You are upfront. You know, I'll give you a piece. I mean, I was reading this particular one, Blessed Brazier, Blessed Underwire, my bosom is at rest. Yeah, I am confident with steel at my chest. My boobs are now pointing not southwards, but west. I, in my brazier, am happy and blessed.
Well, that particular poem, I've always been quite fascinated with our obsession with the brassiere as African women.
Yeah.
You know, because if you look at old pictures of Madonna, the early 90s, she used to wear those bras, the bustiers, I think they're called. Yes, yeah, the corsets done by JPG. And even if you look at pictures of Naomi Campbell now, there just seems to be this obsession with boosting the bosom.
Are you telling me there's so much
everyone
bosom
it's
in there?
getting higher and higher every year. You know,
It's
so
good. Sometimes somebody's going to have habits.
I'm telling you, you know, and if you go to the marketplace, I just love it when I see women selling tomatoes, carrying their babies, you know, feeding, and everything is just so natural. But
Everything
you see,
is so southwards.
exactly, but at least it's not westwards. You know, why do we have to always make an effort to follow the trends in the West? Why can't we just be ourselves? But I know it's impossible because I can't go out without a bra, and a lot of women I know simply would not. You know, but we've actually reached that point where we think it's indecent
Not to wear,
just look natural.
Yeah, not to wear a bra.
Which is
That would be a bit of a
unfortunate.
problem. But there's also the other one about stop slimming me. It's also about, you know, the Western stereotype, you know, where I love this one. Don't squash my ego with that claustrophobic wall bashing. Don't menace me with tennis. I like my balls right here in my court. Don't ask me to stroke my breast in chlorine deep and dreary. Don't coax me into lifting weights. Let the dumbbell stay dumber still. I like my tum. I like my bust. I like my bum. And love me.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's I think as women we should learn to accept who we are. Some of us, quite a
It
few
is
of us
hard,
actually.
though.
It's difficult, you know. You go to the gym and you're thinking, oh God, help me. You know, I just need to lose these 2 kilos. But I guess if we just learn to accept the person that we are, because some people actually find it very difficult to lose weight, genetically so, and we should just be more accepting, because actually African women I think are built, they're very voluptuous, they're robust, you know, and why do we all have to look like Naomi Campbell?
And African men like them. Look, I'm telling you, people always say to me that, oh, you're slim, men must like you. No! No!
Well, that's another thing, because my husband actually likes very voluptuous women.
Okay,
So
I can put on weight.
Try first.
I can put on weight. Right. So you at 25, you became the editor of Overlonion publishing house at 25. So you've been writing all your life. You've been interested in the literary all your life, have you?
I have been. I mean, I since I went to boarding school, I went to boarding school at 6 in Edinburgh, and they
was that why? It's at 6.
You have to ask my mom. But I think it was. I mean, I wasn't the only 6-year-old there, but it was just, I guess, what my parents thought was best at the time. But you kind of, when you're in school, they're always telling you to write stories and stimulate your mind creatively, you know, getting you to write poetry and stuff like that. And I really liked writing these little limericks and, you know, making my friends laugh and stuff like that. But then there was a break in when I came back to Nigeria in secondary school. I was always starting novels. I have about 6 exercise books at home where I start this novel. I only ever got to chapter 3 or 4, you know, because I'll just get bored and with the idea and want to start a new one. And then I studied English at the Ogun State University. And I remember I think it was in 300 level, I took this course, Introduction to Creative Writing, and I really enjoyed it. And the lecturer seemed to be very impressed with the stuff that I was producing. I mean, I was chuffed, and from there I just started trying my hand. And then when I left school, went to Ibadan, started hanging out with a lot of writers, started attending meetings, and it just from there, well, I'm here now.
Was it a natural, therefore, that you would marry a Shoyinka? Of course, that's who your husband is.
I didn't.
You know, Ola Shoyinka, who's a medical doctor.
Well, you see, I don't know why he was so attracted to me, and he. I mean, it's quite a privilege for him to be married to a writer. Or is that not what you were trying to say? Sorry. No, I don't think so. I mean, I didn't go out to marry Wale Soyinka's
But was it a problem, you know, at a stage, you know, you have so much of your own stuff, you're so talented, and then you sort of have to live under the shadow, might have to live under the shadow of Wale Soyinka. Is that, you know, a blessing or?
I don't think that I've ever actually had that problem, because luckily, before I actually got married to Ola, I'd already established myself, I feel anyway, as a writer. And as Lola Soneyin, the writer.
Which is why you still bear Lola Soneyin. Is that why?
Yes, one of the reasons, but I think you people should be grateful that I've allowed Olaokun to maintain his own surname.
So that we
I mean,
will
anyone else, if it wasn't Wale Soyinka, I would have insisted he changed his name to
show
Lola Olashoneyin.
of
Yes.
course, because this is a very important name now.
This. I mean, up women here, but it's I've never had that problem. I do my own thing, and you can't compete, and it's not influenced me in any way at all. It hasn't really opened any doors, much as I wish that it had done. The fact that the fact that I'm related to Professor Soyinka in the way that I am, but I don't see how it has affected my life really as a writer.
Right. Do you suppose also that perhaps because one is so preoccupied with being creative and being true to the art and pure, we perhaps writers ignore the more commercial angle to working? For example, I know you've done some work for radio, for example. I'm dying to see a Nigerian sitcom. I mean, look at Sex and the City, for example. I mean, that's talking about sexual issues from a woman's perspective. And I find it hilarious and brilliant. I don't care about, all the other, connotations around it. But, would you consider doing commercial stuff like that? And why I sense it, I don't know if I'm right, a feeling that art, creative writers in Nigeria feel a need to stay true to the art and stay away from the commerce. It's plenty questions, I know.
Well, I think that perhaps it's that we're not ready for that yet, because we're still grappling with so many issues that I think are just so much more important than sex, and from the woman's perspective.
What about other issues? I mean, like me wanting your husband would be great on TV. I really want your husband.
We'll talk later. Well, they just, the way I see it, I wouldn't consider writing a script for TV or radio that would relate to sex from a woman's point of view, because, like I said, there are just so many other things. We're trying to deal with bad governance. We're trying to deal with corruption. We're trying to deal with so many issues that are related to children, for instance, that are just not being talked about in our society. And I think that the reason they can do that in America, and the reason that the person who wrote that script could actually achieve that much success, is that, I mean, they've been dealing with those issues for ages, and it's just the time that kind of idea can flourish. They are at that stage of development, in their society.
Right. Okay.
And you'd actually get into a lot of trouble if you started that kind of thing here.
What would you do other issues about governance and stuff for TV in Nigeria or for radio in Nigeria?
I would definitely.